Hey everyone, it's Pearlescent Toys, back in today's video with another Marvel Legends action figure review. Today marks the finale of the 85th anniversary line. Each figure I have gone over on this channel already. I'll leave a playlist in the description below so you can watch all of them, but this is the last one. This is the be-all end-all of the line, the HULKBUSTER. Yes, this thing has been a very long time coming. One of my most anticipated from the line. Here is the side art with the Extremis suit down here. Lovely. And the back of the box with a bio. A specialized suit designed by Tony Stark. The HULKBUSTER armor allows him to stand toe-to-toe with the Hulk when needed. Alright, but without further ado, let's get into the review. The HULKBUSTER armor would make its first appearance in the comics in Iron Man issue number 304 in May of 1994. That original version of the suit was labeled as the Model 13. However, the one you see before you is the upgraded version known as the Model 31. It was created by Daniel and Charles Knopf and Patrick Zurcher, sorry if I'm pronouncing those names wrong, and debuted in The Invincible Iron Man issue number 12 in August of 2006. Now going over the sculpts and the paint apps. First up are these feet, and immediately there is a ton of paint apps, especially down here with these propulsion pieces on the side with these nuts screwed on to the foot right there. Love the layers they put onto the feet, this little gap in between the big toe and the rest of the toes. I think that looks silly. The bars underneath, yeah, they're all painted in. It's a detail they didn't have to put in, but they did anyways. I really do appreciate that. You get these pieces right here, these little guards, and each of these holes are individually painted in. Yeah, the sculpt, it's indented into the plastic, and I think it just looks awesome. I love the gunmetal gray that they use to paint in all these holes. It is very similar all throughout the rest of the figure. Oh, and on the back of the calves right here, the Achilles tendon, there's these giant pistons for that. I think that looks wonderful. This piece in between the foot and the calf is separate. I'm guessing it's loose just to really help out with articulation, especially when it comes to the feet. As you can see behind the piston, there is some really nice mesh sculpt work, and it's also continued up here on the lower thigh. On the knees, you have this molded gold plastic. You can see a bit of the marbleization in there, but it isn't too noticeable. I think that looks absolutely lovely, man. It is so reflective too. On both sides of the thighs, you have these two nodes that are painted in a dark silver color, similar to like all these holes on the shin guard. All the red plastic throughout the figure is a metallic red, and it is very reflective, almost like a pearlescent shine to it. And yeah, the thighs right here, the outside of them have this golden honeycomb design, and I love the intricacy of it. All the holes, the inside of the thighs, oh, it's just sculpted beautifully. It is molded in a silver plastic, but like all the sculpted detail really hides that marbleization, and it just looks flat out awesome. Love all the cybernetic details. Then we get up to this hip piece, and this part is painted gold as opposed to like molded gold as the torso. It doesn't really match up all too well, but like from far away, it's hard to really notice. The marbleization is very clear to see. Like, it is just clear as day. I really don't have to focus in with the camera just to show it off. Yeah, it's everywhere. I do like the pattern going down though, like this ribbed like scale pattern. It's extremely similar to the Ironmonger Build-A-Figure, which I thought this figure was going to borrow pieces from. But like, as you can see, like these, it's pretty similar, honestly. But yeah, that size difference between the two, there is no doubt that this one is brand new. And then a look on the back, again, continuing that scaled pattern going upwards this time. And then on the back, you get this really cool propulsion jet just covering up a large majority of that surface. And these two bolts right next to them, silver bits right here. And you get these really cool looking exhausts that are removable in case you don't want to have them on. But man, I just think it makes the figure look so much better. So this arc reactor is painted beautifully. I love how it transitions from a dark yellow to a white. I think it's actually gold now that I look at it. Yeah, it is very reflective. It is a gold color, and it slowly transitions over to white. Love the little mesh pattern right here, right above the cut. And all these panels that you get underneath the arm, you get more silver painted metallic fits. And it continues onto the arm where it has these 3 little tubes, and it has these 3 dots right there and some more line work. And that shoulder pad, my oh my. Yeah, it is just ginormous, these shoulder pads are. Looks awesome though. You have some nodes on the side of the arm right there, painted in a dark silver. And on the back of this bicep, on the lower bicep, you have these pistons, these giant pistons going down. Absolutely love that. On the bottom of the wrist, the upper part is painted gold, and it is in the middle of it is this red node. You get some more of that scaled pattern going down the wrist onto the hand, and yeah, the arc reactor is sculpted. And I kind of wish it was painted, honestly. The fingers have a ribbed pattern on it though. And then on the outside of that wrist, you have this wrist guard, and dude, the mesh pattern underneath followed with the lines. I think it looks phenomenal, and it just looks beautiful, honestly. Now, one big critique is that the gold used here and here doesn't really match up with the torso at all. The golds are a bit darker, and this one is a bit brighter. Now, going over accessories, first up we have the helmeted head sculpt, and it just looks awesome. I love how flat and dome-like it is. Like, Hulk's gonna have a really hard time just trying to get a grip on it and rip it off. Love that design. And of course the mask, the helmet itself just kind of being stretched out, you know, that faceplate. Absolutely love it. And of course it has some lines in between the red and the gold, and in between each line it is painted silver. Same with the chin right here, and the eyes have a black outline. Nothing really noteworthy about the rest of the head. There are some lines going all throughout it. I'd love to paint this in, honestly, all the lines painted in black. See how that looks. I'll just wait for someone on Instagram to do it instead. He also comes with a Tony Stark head sculpt. And one thing I wanted to point out about the helmeted head sculpt first, though, is that underneath is all this tubing and just cybernetic details. I just love it. Look at the rib pattern right there. This you would almost never see. I believe they probably included this part of the helmet just so when he's fighting Hulk, if you want to have Hulk holding this piece, it has some detail on the bottom. I think that's really neat. But going over to the Tony Stark head, and it just looks great. It has a great likeness to Tony from the comics. And as you can see, all around the helmet, or all around the head, is molded in a silver plastic. It continues all of that cybernetics. You know, with Tony himself on his cheeks and his chin, it has some more of that armor. And then you get this red piece covering up his upper neck / lower head. I love the hair sculpt, how it just like kind of goes out. And then you're able to take off the back and chest piece right here, connected together. They would, you know, look like this. And I think it's another great detail that they put in is that the inside is just all sculpted just to hell and back. It looks phenomenal, and it would look great once Hulk is just ripping it off the armor itself. That's freaking awesome. I love that they included all that detail within. As you can see, like, the upper torso is a lot skinnier than before, but you could just see the inside of the armor itself, and the arc reactor is all painted white. Some silver paint surrounding that, and these lines going down. More mesh just all throughout the figure, all underneath these panels and lines. On the back, oh man, this is like my favorite part. I love the spine going down. It's just awesome to me when like the armors kind of replicate the skeletal features of the human anatomy. It just looks awesome. Up here, all those tiny pistons, and then all these circles, and man, it just looks phenomenal all throughout. It also comes with 2 open C-grip hands and 2 fisted hands. Now moving on to the articulation, and I'm going to leave the chest piece on because it doesn't really inhibit the articulation at all for the figure. It's pretty much the same with or without it. But starting with the head, it is able to move this far up and a tiny bit down. He does have a lot of pivot and some side-to-side movement. And now for the helmeted head, yeah, you're not really going to get any movement out of this, just some side-to-side movement. His arm is able to move this far up, and it does have rotation, being able to move all the way around, and that shoulder pad is separate so it moves out of the way if you need it to. And then he has some upper bicep swivel, a single jointed elbow, which also has a swivel to it, and your standard wrist hinge, allowing his hand to move up, down, and then all the way around. He is able to bend this far back and this far forward, and with that mid diaphragm joint, he's able to pivot, and he is supposed to have side to side movement, but boing, oops, there goes that. Boing. See, like it snaps back in place. It does not want to stay in place whenever I move it. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. I don't want it to break. This cut right here would lead me to believe that there is a waist swivel as well, but I just can't. It doesn't want to budge, and I'm not breaking this. This figure costs like $60. So yeah, everyone who's watching this, try this at home. See if yours does it, and let me know in the comments below if it does. Going over the legs, his leg is able to kick out this far and go out to the side this much and go back a little bit. He has upper thigh swivel. And again, I would be led to believe that this is a double jointed knee. However, it doesn't want to budge. Yeah, you can see the cut right here. And it's like that for both knees. So I don't know. I'm not going to test it. Try this at home. See if yours is better. His leg is able to move up this much, or at least mine is. And his foot is able to go this far down, this far up, and he has some. And now going over size comparisons, here is the HULKBUSTER armor next to Odin and Scar, Taskmaster and Doctor Doom, Iron Patriot and Venom, Astonishing Wolverine and Miss Marvel, Luke Cage and Iron Fist. And finally, wrapping up the Marvel 85th anniversary line, we have Superior Spider-Man and Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. Now moving on to some miscellaneous size comparisons. First up, we have the 80th anniversary Hulk and the 20th anniversary. It's really been 5 years since this one came out. Jeez, I'm getting old. These are definitely the ones that I feel like most collectors have and are going to be pitted against this guy right here. In terms of size, I absolutely love it. You know, I think he could have been a little bit wider, to be honest, just to match Hulk's frame. But I do love the height difference between the two. This one, the HULKBUSTER, obviously being a bit taller than Hulk, it makes sense. I like that. Here he is next to Red Hulk and Gray Hulk, the totally awesome Hulk and She-Hulk, the Model 4 Iron Man suit, and Extremis suit Iron Man. Now on to the usual suspects. Here we have Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Darwin and Morbius, Commander Gary and CT-4279, Grogu and Sad Freaking Rollins, and finally, Jeff the Landshark and Spider Ham. Alright, time for my final rating and my overall thoughts. I think I'm going to give this figure a final rating of 9 out of 10. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I love the articulation and the sculpt of it. Even though the sculpt is a little skinny, he does tower over Hulk, so I do love that. And yeah, it's just a fun figure to pose around, to play with. So yeah, I'm giving HULKBUSTER here a 9 out of 10. But yeah, that'll do for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Please tell me in the comment section below what you would rate this figure out of 10. I would love to see your guys' opinions. And while you're at it, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. Anything you can do that'll support the channel will be greatly, greatly appreciated. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye. A specialized suit. Again, I absolutely love the golden honeycomb design. Ooh, man. But starting off with the head, it is able to move up this much and... Ooh, oh, no.